Well, hey gang, how you doing? Jonathan here for Tailhunter Sportfishing, and it's time once again for the Mexican Minute La Paz video fishing report, covering all of the fishing action for the 28th of March until April 4th for our Tailhunter Sportfishing fleet in La Paz, Baja, Mexico. Wherever you are, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for checking in, and please also don't forget to subscribe, okay? Like I said, wherever you are, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Easter or are having a great Easter, spring break, whatever you want to call it, but hope it's a peaceful, happy, and safe time for all of you. Listen, let's talk about fishing. Winter's not completely done yet, even though we're headed into spring. And I'll tell you why. We've had these winter winds that knock us off the water so often, and earlier this week and this last weekend, those winds aren't quite done with us just yet. They came up, they really pushed everything down, took everybody off the water, and then even when they were done, because they really turned the water over quite a bit, even when they were done for the first part of last week, the waters were still turned over, still green, still really murky, so the fish really didn't bite so well. But I guess on the better side, there aren't that many people fishing. A lot of folks are down for spring break. A lot of folks are down for Easter week and for the vacation about this time, but not a lot of folks are actually fishing. So we didn't have a lot of folks earlier in the week when I said the waters were turned over. That being said, the winds finally died down, waters cleared up, and bam, the yellowtail, they're still there. Nice sized fish, 15, 20, 25 pounders. They're at the north end of Cerralvo Island, the south end of Cerralvo Island, as I've said before. They're also at Los Pilis, which is around the backside of Cerralvo Island. There's also some fish over at El Bajo. There's also some fish if you can get out there to Espiritu Santo Island. There's a whole bunch of different areas, even as close as just a few yards offshore. If you come out of Muertos Bay, if you're familiar with that, then you go just around the corner at Punta Perico. There's some fish right there in 10, 20, 30 feet of water. Once again, as I've mentioned in past fishing reports, the hot ticket for the bigger fish and the most bites, number one, sardines. Number two, if you can get those rapalas that I mentioned before, and I'll put these at the end of the report as well so you can see them again, but those rapalas, those X-Raps, the bombers, the Yozuris are working very, very well, as are the yo-yo jigs, the heavier iron that you can get to the bottom, as well as the knife jigs, those butterfly jigs that I showed you last week, and again, we'll post at the end of this. They don't necessarily have to be those particular brands. I'm not being paid to say this or anything, but just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. It's like mentioning Kleenex. There's a ton of companies that make Kleenex or tissue, as I should say, but we all know it by Kleenex. We know what we're talking about. So when I say Rapala, that gives you an idea of the type of lure we're using. Now, here's the biggest problem is this yellowtail bite, as I've said in the past, is probably, I can't remember a yellowtail bite this good in the 30 years that I've been in Baja. And the problem is for these lures that I just mentioned, if you're not fishing them and if you're not losing some of them because we're fishing so close to structure, a lot of these fish, they're like freight trains. You're going to lose gear, and we're losing so many of these that it's hard to replace. The stores in La Paz that do carry them to begin with, it's very expensive. For example, a Rapala I've seen as much as 45 bucks. They're hard to replace. On top of that, we're going through so many of them that the stores are running out. So if you're coming down, if you want to do yourself a favor, bring some of those down. Again, like I said, I'll put them at the end of this report with some of the photos so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. If you can bring some of those down, it'd really, really be a bonus, because like I said, they're really getting hard to find. It's like trying to find toilet paper a year ago. They're either real expensive or you can't find any. So you get the idea. Anyway, the yellowtail are still biting. There's still big cabria. Those are also biting the jigs. They're biting the rapalas. They're biting sardines. There's Jack Crevalle, some big schools running around. And if you've never run into a Jack Crevalle, they are... there's a Mexican name for them. They're called toro for a reason. Toro, sound familiar? That means bull, because these are really feisty, strong fish. Imagine a rooster fish without that mohawk. They're the same family. They fight hard. Not as, they don't taste very good, but if you're looking for some sport fish, the Jack Crevalle are there. There's also snapper. There's some Sierra around. Also finally starting to get some of those big dog tooths as well. So there's some variety. Now, I do not know how long this yellowtail bite's going to last. It requires cooler water. The waters are warming up. I don't know how long it's going to go on until the waters get warm, and then the yellowtail bite, unfortunately, is going to shut off. But here's the good side. As the waters warm up, that means more dorado, more tuna. We're already seeing some wahoo running around. There's more marlin in the water as well. So as the waters get warm, the fishing doesn't get bad. It just, changes a little bit. We're going to start getting more warm water species like the species I just mentioned. Haven't had anybody fishing for roosterfish yet because the yellowtail bite has been so good. There's meat fish out. Those pargo, those cabria, those yellowtail are what people can eat and can take home. Roosterfish, not so good eating. They're a great sport fish, but like I said, not so good eating, so everything gets released. So nobody's really been fishing for them. That doesn't mean they're not there. So I've got some folks fishing for them this coming week. I'll keep you posted on if the roosterfish are there, because I know a lot of folks come down, and we are called the roosterfish capital of the world. Anyway, that's going to be a quick wrap up for this week, a lot shorter than it was the week before. So, and again, thank you for checking in. I'm sorry this is so fast. I'm trying to get it before I lose power, and we'll see you down there. Thank you for checking in. God bless you. Take care. We'll see you next week. And this is Jonathan for the Mexican Minute.